Some of them are still struggling. As a matter of fact, you're the parent to your parent, am I right? You're taking care of them in old age. You're like, well, Mama, where's your savings? Honey, we just didn't have time to save. I was just too busy putting food on the table and getting you to school. So hard work is not the answer. And the answer is not always saying, well, I'm going to change professions and I'm going to go do something else. Forget all that. Maybe the best profession is what you're doing right now. You have to address yourself and say to yourself, are you giving the best every single day? Yes or no? And if not, you just need to ask yourself, why not? What's stopping you? Well, you know, I'm in this just for a little while and I'm going to see how it works out. Forget it, you're already out. Your commitment will determine, let me say it again. I want you to say it like this. My commitment, go ahead and say it.
My commitment
will determine my future.
My future.
That's it. You have to be all in. And look at all the marriages today. Are they always all in?
No.
Well, when you got married, did you say this?
Try.
I'm just saying. What happened? What happened? What happened to your commitment when you got married? Well, what? I love when people always start a sentence. I went, what happened? Well, you know, we just weren't on the same page. Well, what page were you on? I mean, what happened? Well, you know, she what? Well, she didn't change, or well, did you change? Well, you know, I was waiting for her to change, and if she changes, I'm changing. Well, you can't have a relationship like that. Your relationship will fall apart. I know for sure it's cheaper to keep her. Right? Forget refinancing it over and over, man. I did that like 10 years ago. I'm still paying on it. It really comes down to the will. What is your will? What's your purpose? And I'm sure all of you have financial goals this year, am I right? Did you write them out? Yes or no? If you didn't write them out, guess what? Life is going to broadside you. And you know what a lot of people will say? Well, I got it up here, but that's the problem. You got to get it on paper. And I'm going to talk a little bit about goals and how to reach your goals. Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
Don't pick up something so far? What'd you pick up? It's commandment. All in. I'm going to be number one. I'm going to be number one. That's it. And number one could be, in your life, different than number one in other people's life. You know, some people always think, well, number one is, you know, selling X amount of $1 million a year. Not necessarily. Number one could be different for a lot of people. Number one in South Dakota could be making $35,000 a year. When the average person, you know, there is making $18,000. You're twice as rich as poor people if you make $35,000. But some people think that $350,000 is good, and we have other people that think $350 million is good. Look at the guy at Disney this year. I think he made $40 million something this year. Is that enough? Well, that's not what I'm going after, but I am going after a few things. And when you set your goals, let me share something with you. Your purpose has to be bigger than your goal. Let me say it again. Your purpose has to be bigger than your goal. Why do you want to make that kind of money? These are the questions you ask yourself. And literally, you should be writing these questions down and putting them on a sheet of paper, because you got to motivate and inspire yourself. Now, it can't be somebody else. It can't just be me. I'm just a voice today, and I'm going to leave, and some of the stuff's going to stick, and some of the stuff's not going to stick. But why do you want to make that kind of money? This is one of the things you have to ask yourself. Why do I want to make that kind of money? What am I going to do with the money? Who am I going to help with the money? What are the things I want in my life that I don't have now that I'd love to have if I had the money? And since we're in sales, we should talk about what? Money. I don't go home and talk to my kids about money when I'm getting them ready for school. Are you kidding? I talk about responsibility and a few other things. But this is about money. What are you going to do with the money? What if I don't have the money? Who can I help if I have the money? You know, years ago, I set some goals, and one of them is I wanted a boat. And so I would do a goal setting session in another career that I had, and I would write up there, this is no BS, years ago, I would write, number one employee in the company, you know, buy my wife a new ring, this is before I lived here, a second home in Lake Arrowhead, I'd like to have a boat, a ski boat, And one of the things I learned about goal setting is this: 94%, almost 100% of your goals can and will be achieved if you write your goals down. And then you have to see your goals in front of you every single day. You can't just write your goals down and say, well, you know what, open up at the end of next year. You have to keep them right in front, because if you don't keep your goals in front of you, what do you think you'll lose?
Focus.
Well, you'll lose your focus. What else? You'll lose something else, though. Say it? Commitment and something else. You're right there. It's your enthusiasm. And it's your enthusiasm, literally, that drives you to your goal. Look at your sex drive. It's almost unstoppable. It's the same thing as your hunger drive. It's almost unstoppable. It's a feeling. And so what you have to do is you have to harness your feelings. So if you keep your goal in front of you, you can take that feeling. Because you all have the same drives. It's just some people can take that drive and harness it. And the people that can harness that drive are focused. And so you keep it in front of you. And you repeat it. Listen, if you're in a little bit of a slump or a rut, this is what you can do to get out of it today. First off, change your attitude. And have an attitude that is better, not bitter. Have an attitude that is grateful, not hateful. Because there's a lot of people that are bitter. And they're mad, and they're frustrated, and they're angry. What are they angry at? Is it something that's going on right now? Or is it something that went on a while ago? So how can you be focused if you're not here? If you're not here, you're over there. And so what happens is a lot of people can't harness their emotions because they're not living when? Well, where are you? Where are you? Well, you know, a long time ago. Oh my God. We've got some History Channel experts. Have you ever watched the History Channel? They talk about crap that happened how long ago? And you're like, oh, I don't really care. You don't care about it. I do, but I don't want to watch your History Channel. And then there's other people that watch the Misery Channel. Have you ever worked with them? Oh, gosh, it is so freaking. And have you ever noticed it starts to affect you a bit? It's almost like you need to say what? Shut up. I don't want to hear. You know what I call those people? They're energy vampires. And if you share your goals with them, this is what they'll say. That shouldn't happen. Do you know how many agents we have in the office? And then we got that new guy down the freaking street with that ding-dong sign, that freaking roly-poly car. You know what? Everybody's going right there. Really? Whatever it is. Whatever. I mean, WTF. Wow, that's fabulous. Maybe that'll help us sell some more homes, huh? Woo! Let's break out little, you know what, crap all over the place. I mean, we just need people that are willing to go to work, pick up the phone, and call, text, email, and chase customers. That are committed. Is that you? Is that you? Well, let me show you something. I've never worked for that dude. If we go to bank on a trolley car, we're in big trouble. That's like people that put balloons out for promotions. Are we leaning our whole luck on a balloon or a gimmick or a fad? I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Well, it does come down to commitment. It comes down to your attitude. And what is your attitude like? Do you have a massive success attitude, or are you one of those people that just says, well, I just need enough money to pay my what? Bills. Is that why you're here? You think God put you on earth just to live that way? Just make enough to pay your bills? Wow. That's a struggle. So you have to have an attitude of success. Can you see yourself at number one? Or do you have some blocks or some triggers that say, oh, that's going to take a long time? Have you ever seen a new realtor come in and just womp up the storm, yay or nay? Who's ever seen that? That's freaky. What's wrong with it? What does that person have that maybe you're missing? What do they have? Because I can't stand them. I call them FNG, right? And that could be a couple of different things, right? Fabulous new girl, fantastic new guy. Oh, if they're beating your asses, what? Yeah, a new person. Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, and if they go to lunch with the broker, you already know what's happening. Probably You got a funnel going right there. Oh yeah, getting all the house deal. So now jealousy and envy come up, right? That's just the mind of the devil. That's his daily vitamins. He loves you to take those every day. It's really their attitude. But your attitude will only carry you so far. And so what you have to do is you have to have the skills. You have to have selling skills. Skills to handle objections. Skills to get people to say yes. Years ago, we were selling our house, literally out in Corona, moving here. And so we hired this realtor. And nice person, but it looked like they couldn't close the door with a hurricane behind it. Seriously. And I was watching her, show these people the house. And I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, let me take over. And she got all pissed off and frustrated and all that. And I said, watch me. I took these two old biddies upstairs, and I said, where are you all going to be sleeping? And one of them's like, well, this would be my room. And the other one's like, well, this would be my room. Well, you guys would be comfortable in here, wouldn't you? They had to say what to me? Yeah. By the time they got downstairs, I probably had 15 minor commitments by getting them to do this. You know what I mean? You're doing it now, aren't you? Yeah. See, it works, doesn't it? It's a skill, isn't it? You can hear them all now, can't you? They're in everything, aren't they? You can't say no, can you? But you just did, didn't you? You want me to shut up, don't you? But I'm not going to, am I? See, it comes down to who asks the questions is the one that controls the process. Once you control the process, you control the customer. It's not that hard to sell real estate. Duh. Are you freaking kidding? It's a TV. Oh, shit. Thank you. That's the kitchen. I can see that. That's where the stove is. I need a salesperson. Somebody that can sell. Somebody that can, investigate and build rapport and find out what I like about the house. You need skills. I just assumed that the man wants what room? The what? Master. Smart lady. We're going to get along. That's it. I don't care about the garage. There's no loving out there. No, I'm just teasing you. But all you got to do is just say, well, what's your favorite part of the house? Well, I like the master, the master room, where the TV is. Most realtors would just come over and say, well, come on over here. That's called verbal vomit. And you throw up, bleh, bleh. And the customer's like, wow, okay. We got to get going. And you're like, oh. And then you get back to the office, and then, your boss says, well, how'd it go? Why don't you ask me how it went? Go ahead. Well, I'll tell you what, man, these buyers are they're really tough today. They're tough because you're not good. That's it. You're not good. Because if you were good, you'd get them to what? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When somebody says, well, I like this, all you have to do is come back and say, well, why is that? And when you get the prospect to talk about themselves, then they're not thinking about you anymore. So now they're not judging. So now the feelings start becoming engaged. And when the value is higher than the price, that's when you're ready to close your deal. So you have to build the value. Well, I just assume. Don't ever assume. Now, there are some people that you and I know, they can't afford it. They got a champagne taste beer budget. You all know that. You got to qualify them, right? Get them into a house that's going to fit their payment, all that, and then what they can qualify for. But most of us, do we want to buy more than we can afford? Yes or no? Oh, yeah. Well, that's just who we are. So you got to get people excited. Well, how do I get them excited? Well, you have to be excited. Well, how do I get excited? Well, you got to take your daily vitamins every day. Attitude, gratitude, be, belief in self. Right? Courage, drive, enthusiasm, faith. I mean, these are the vitamins I take every single day. I'm not waiting for you to warm up. I was warmed up before I got here. And you got to do the same thing. If you want to sell more, you want to close more, all you have to do is the next person you come in contact with, make them feel like they're the most important person in the world, and watch what happens.